Hi guys, welcome to C2C Mentors. Today we'll be doing the sixth sectional. There you go, from TCY, sixth verbal. So I hope the videos are helping. I am monitoring the comments also, so do comment whatever you need. Say there is some particular thing that you need me to focus on also. So that is something that can be done. And let's begin. Let's begin solving. Okay, so similar, starting में verbal दे दिया, fifth तक verbal, sixth verbal, seventh verbal, eighth is also verbal. Okay, there you go. So there are 22 questions and the first set starts from 9, and let me look at the last question. 13 is also the same, okay, and 14 is different. So 9 to 13 is our set, okay. So there are what, 5 questions? Yeah, 5 questions. 5 questions. Let's just look at the topic. If we lived on a planet where nothing ever changed, there would be little to do. There would be nothing to figure out. There would be no impetus for science. Okay, they're good at understanding the world. Okay, so the world. This is talking about world and dynamism. Okay. Let's look at the questions. Directly फटाफट glance करते हैं. Someone was asked a time. That's how. Author's approach in the passage can be described as, okay, the author says that humans have spent a major part of their existence in, okay, 10th, apparent regularity in the domain of science. 11th is also objective. So get the 12th one. By such a possibility of figure like refrigerators up in the constellation, the author is mockery, okay. Yes, okay, author, human beings have been great, dash. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is a very good set actually. Good questions. 10, 11, 12 and 13 I consider to be objective. Okay, let's look at the next set. There is 14 to what, 18? Other more, okay, that's still the same. Okay, there it is, 14 to 18 and 19 to 22 are our two sets now, 14 to 18 and 19 to 22. So for 14 to 18 there are 5 questions, and for 19 to 22 there are 4 questions. Okay, let's go through the passages. The more or less popular opinion of the way to determine right or wrong are found to be more satisfactory. Many believe that question of whether an act is right or wrong. Okay, right or wrong, judging basically, right? Right or wrong. Okay, what is the central idea of the passage? Central idea question. What is the meaning of religion in the context of the passage? Okay, the author is most likely, okay. What is the importance of the consideration as the what is the import of the line conscious as a valuable guide? Okay, iska scope chota hai, so decent. Thou shalt not kill as per the author means, okay. So 18 is there, 18 is objective. 17 was somewhat objective because the scope was narrow. Okay, and 15, okay, and 14 was not. So 15, 17, 18, that's my order. 15, 17 and 18. Let's look at the last one, 19 se. Okay, the first observer who noticed that the volume of body could be diminished by compression or cold or augmented by heat. Oh wow, modern experiments have succeeded. Wow, okay, this is physics basically, could say physics. Which are the following best expresses the main idea? Okay, no. Let's look at 20. Which are the author most certainly agree with? Subjective again. Significance of dark zone Newton noticed. 21st is important. Which discontinuity is the author referring to introduce an evident? Okay, so 21 and 22. Okay, 21 and 22. I like all of them, but I'll still go in the same order. We'll be taking this first, we'll be taking this second, and this is just based on the objective questions that are available. All 3 of them are the topics that are very much doable, and I would enjoy doing them, right? So summary, PJ and O and PJ, that should be the order. Okay, 1 is PJ, 2 is PJ, 3 is PJ. Let's look at fourth is summary. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4th is summary. Okay, let's look at the next one. 5th summary, 6th is OOO, 7th OOO, 8th OOO. Okay. 5, there are only 2 summaries this time. 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so OO and summary is still on the higher side. Doable. Let's begin 9 to 13. Let's start solving. Okay, 35 minutes, so approximately 5 minutes. See, if we lived on a planet where nothing ever changed, there would be very little to do. There would be nothing to figure out. There would be no impedance for science, and we lived in an unpredictable world where things changed in random or very complex ways, not be able to figure things out. Okay, again, there would be no such thing as science. Okay, but we live in an in-between universe. If we throw a stick up in the air, it will always fall. It always falls down. If the sun sets in the west, it always rises again. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, there was some lag, I think. Yeah. It always, if the sun sets in the west, it always rises again next morning in the east, and so it becomes possible to figure things out. We can do science, and with it, we can improve our lives. Human beings are good at understanding the world. We always have been. We were able to hunt game or build fires only because we had figured something out. There was a time before television, before motion pictures, before radio, before books. The greatest part of human existence was spent in such a time. Over the dying embers of the campfire on a moonless night, we watch the stars. The night sky is interesting. There are patterns there. Without even trying, you can imagine pictures. In the northern sky, for example, there is a pattern on or constellation that looks like Ursin. Okay, Ursin, little Ursin. Some cultures call it Great Bear. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Others see quite different images. These pictures are not, of course, really in night sky. I said we were hunter folk, and we saw hunters and dogs, bears and young women, all manners of things of interest to us. When 17th century European sailors first saw the southern skies, they put objects of heavens, toucans and peacocks, telescope and microscope, compasses and the sterns of ship. Constellation had been named in the 20th century. I suppose we would see bicycle, refrigerator in the sky, rock and roll stars, and perhaps even mushroom clouds, a new set of human hopes and fears placed among the stars. The tail, okay, glimpse for just a moment, hurtling across the sky. They call it falling star. It is not a good name. The old stars are still there after the falling star falls. In some seasons, there were many falling stars. In others, very few. There is a kind of regularity here as well, like the sun and the moon. Stars always rise in the east and set in the west, taking the whole night to cross the sky. They pass over it. There are different seasons. The same constellation always rise at the beginning of autumn, say. Never happens that new constellation suddenly rise out of the east. There is an order, predictability, a permanence about the stars in a way are almost comforting. If you made careful observation of the stars and recorded them over many years, you could predict the season. You could also measure the time of the year by noting where the sun rose each day in the skies. Was a great calendar available to anyone with dedication. Okay, ability to keep records. Okay, 32. So almost 3 minutes we took. Let's look at the objective question. It's from 10th. The approach in the passage can be described as esoteric and academic, casual and desultory. Okay, esoteric and academic. It's not morose, so that's gone. Light-hearted and explanatory it could be. It is also casual, and I don't know what desultory means. So I don't think it's esoteric. It has to be between B and C, right? Okay, let's just mark this for review. We don't know the meaning. That's fine. The author says that humans have spent a major part of their existence in author says that advancing the civilization, pre-advanced civilization. Yeah, he said this, pre-advanced civilization. This is fine. I don't have to read others also, but okay. The nomadic life in caves, no. Looking for food and shelter, yeah, no. He was talking about before radio, before television, right? Apparent regularity in the domain of science is an illusion mankind is harboring, is not intended to be so by Mother Nature, is unique and will not be found elsewhere in the universe, is helpful to us. Yeah, no. None of them are conveyed even closely in the passage. Okay. By suggesting the possibility of figures like refrigerators up in the constellation, the author has made a mockery of the innovative nature of man, is trying to undermine the rule of determination and perseverance, is highlighting the basic nature of man, okay, is highlighting the development in the field of science. Undermine the role of, okay, so this and this is not making a mockery of the innovative nature of man, nor is he trying to undermine the role of determination and perseverance. He is actually trying to say that this is how the naming worked back in the day, because these were the things that were relevant or that came to be in the 17th century. So let's see, highlighting the developments in the field of science. No, I think the basic nature of man, that's what it is conveying. Okay. According to the author, human beings have been great observers, innovators, predictors, discoverers. It should be observers, because the sky was basically with respect to observation, the constellation ka point that they were talking about. They were not, they didn't discover it. They just looked at it and observed that, okay, there is a pattern to it, right? So I think observers, and only you can become a predictor if you are a great observer and you start taking note of it. So nobody inherently is a great predictor, so that gets eliminated. Okay, so which was the second set? The second set was 14 to 18. Let's jump on to that. Other more or less popular opinion of the way to determine right or wrong are found to be no more satisfactory. Many believe that the question of whether an act is right or wrong is to be settled by religious doctrine. The difficulties are still great in this direction. First of all, involves a thorough and judicial inquiry into the merits of many, if not all, forms of religion and investigation which has never been made and from the nature of things cannot be made. Okay, if not all forms of religion. Okay, the fact is that one's religion opinions are settled long before he begins to investigate and quiet by other processes than reason. Then too, religious precepts rest on interpretation. And even the things that seem the plainest have ever been subject to manifold and sometimes conflicting construction. Few, if any, religious commands can be or even ever were implicitly relied on without interpretation. The command, thou shalt not kill, seems plain, but does even this furnish an infallible rule of conduct? Commandment could not be meant to forbid killing animals. Yet there are many people who believe that it does, or at least should. No Christian state makes it apply to men convicted of crime or against killing in war, and yet a considerable minority has always held that both forms of killing violate the commandment. Neither can it be held to apply to accidental killing or killing in self-defense or in defense of property or loss. Laws too provide all grades of punishment for different kinds of killing, from very light penalties up to death. Manifestly, then, the commandment must be interpreted. Thou shalt not kill when it is wrong to kill, and therefore it furnishes no guide to conduct. Okay. Right. Thou shalt do nothing that is wrong. As well say, right. Religious doctrine do not and clearly cannot be adopted as the criminal code of a state. In this uncertainty as to the basis of good and bad conduct, many appeal to conscience as the infallible guide. What is conscience? It manifestly is not a distinct faculty of the mind, and if it were, would it be more reliable than other faculties? It has been often said that some divine power implanted conscience in every human being. Apart from the question of whether human beings are different in kind from other organisms, which will be discussed later, if conscience has been placed in man by divine power, why have not all people been furnished with the same guide? True, there is no doubt that all men of any mentality have a conscience, a feeling that certain things are good and certain are bad. This one does not affect all the actions of life, but probably the ones which to them are the most important. It varies, however, with the individual. What a note to end on, right? So 15, 17 and 18. Let's go on to 15 first. What is the meaning of religion in the context of passage? Religion as interpreted by masses, as given in its numerous tenets, preached by its proponents, accepted by the majority of the masses. Numerous tenets, yeah, it has to be. Masses के बारे में नहीं बताया उन्होंने. They have been talking about, interpreting, say this was interpreting Bible, right? Thou shalt not kill. Commandment. They're talking about commandment. So it's not the proponent's preacher wala perspective. Neither is it interpreted by the masses. Similarly, masses ka hi point majority of the masses mein aata hai, right? That's why I will go with this one, because they are literally trying to extrapolate what is written and talking about why it is wrong to directly apply that. Fair enough, right? That's a good explanation why I'm choosing that. I think that's a good reasoning too. Yeah, let's look at this. What is the import of the line conscience as the infallible guide? What is the import? Conscience guides the actions of man. Conscience is the protector of the morality of man. Okay, conscience manifests moral laws in man. Import of the line conscience as the infallible guide. Okay, many appeal. What is the import of the line conscience guides the actions of man? What is conscience manifestly? Okay, guides the action of man. Protector of morality of man. It has been often said that some divine power implanted conscience in every human being. Mentality, conscience. It's not the protector of morality of man. Does not affect all the actions. Doesn't guide the actions of man. A eliminated. Manifests moral laws in man. Is the filter that discerns right from wrong. I'll go with D. Okay, I'll go with D. Not, it doesn't manifest moral laws in man too. Yeah, it doesn't. See, broadly the ones which most important. Yeah, I'll go with this. Discerns right from wrong. Do not affect all the action, but probably the ones which to them are the most important. Let's have this for review also. Let's go. Thou shall not kill, as per the author, means you can kill animals. Okay, have mercy, don't kill without judicial verdict. Actually, thou shall not kill had any of this interpretation. That's why that becomes our answer. I'm happy we chose that question to target. Okay, what is the central idea of the passage? Religion cannot be right guide to understanding of right and wrong in the world, nor can conscience be. Okay, fair. Okay, religion as given in the doctrines lacks sanctity in terms of clarity of thought, idea and purpose, thus cannot be interpreted to apply to separate right action from wrong, loses sanctity due to selectivity. Okay, judgment of right from wrong cannot be brought under the purview of religion and conscience. Conscience are inadequate guides as to judgment of right and wrong. Under the purview, okay, judgment of right from wrong. I'm confused between C and D. This is I have one problem then with 17th, right? Import of the line conscience as the infallible guide is the filter, right? I think that is the import of the line because they are talking about that, right? In this uncertainty, many appeal to conscience as the infallible guide. Yeah. I'm pretty sure about that answer now. Let's just look at this. Religion, conscience are inadequate guides. Judgment of right from wrong cannot be brought under the purview of religion and conscience. I think this is more correct than C. Religion and conscience are inadequate guides as to judgment. This also I shall be marking for review. Okay. So 14 done. This is left. 16 is left. The author is most likely a criminal judge, an independent thinker, an atheist, a newspaper reporter. It can't be just an atheist because then he goes into conscience and he is debunking that also, right? So, okay, criminal judge, no, I don't think. Again, he talks about criminality too. A newspaper reporter. It could be a newspaper reporter, right? Why not? I'll go for a newspaper reporter or an independent thinker. Is it like a newspaper reporter? It could also be a thinker because he's not sensationalizing anything. If that is also a consideration that could be. There are too many risks then that I'll be taking in this particular set, that is 14 to 18. No, 17 I was pretty sure about now. 14th I have marked, so this also risk I can take. Okay, independent thinker over this one, reporter, definitely. Okay, let's go on to the last one. Yes, 19. The first observers who noticed that the volume of a body could be diminished by compression or cold or augmented by heat, and who saw a soluble solid body mixed completely with the water which dissolved it, much must have been compelled to suppose that matter was not dispersed continuously throughout the space it seemed to occupy. They were thus brought to consider its discontinuous and to admit that a substance having the same composition and the same properties in all its parts in a word perfectly homogeneous ceases to present his homogeneity when considered within a sufficient small volume. Modern experiments have succeeded by direct experiments in placing in evidence this heterogeneous character of matter when taken in small mass. For example, the superficial tension, which is constant for the same liquid at the same given temperature, no longer has the same value when the thickness of the layer of liquid becomes extremely small. Okay, this is superficial tension constant for the same liquid at the same given temperature. Right. Okay. Newton noticed that a dark zone is seen to form on a soap bubble at the moment when it becomes so thin that it must burst. Professor Reynolds and Sir Arthur Rucker have shown that this zone is no longer exactly spherical. From this, we must conclude that superficial tension constant for all thickness above a certain limit commences to vary when the thickness falls below a critical value, which these authors estimate on optical ground 50 millionth of a millimeter. From experiments on capillarity, Wink has obtained similar results with regards to layers of solid, but it is not only capillary properties which allow this characteristic to be revealed. All the properties of body are modified when taken in properties, and Mr. Vincent, in respect of electric conductivity, whose chapter of his excellent work has very clearly set forth the most interesting consideration on atomic hypothesis, recently demonstrated that copper and silver cease to combine with iodine. They are present in thickness of less than 30 millionth of a millimeter. It is this same dimension likewise that is possessed according to Wiener by the smallest thickness it is possible to deposit on glass. These layers are so thin that they cannot be perceived, but their presence is revealed by a change in properties of the light reflected by them. Okay. Thus below 50 to 30 millionth of millimeter, the property of matter depend on its thickness. Then there are no doubt only a few molecules to be met with, and it may be concluded in consequence that the discontinuous elements of body, that is, the molecules, have linear dimensions of the order of magnitude of millionth of millimeter. This is very technical. I'm glad this is the last passage. Considerations regarding more complex phenomena, for instance, the phenomena of electricity by contact, also kinetic theory of gases, bring us the same conclusion. The idea of discontinuous matter forces itself upon us for many other reasons. All modern chemistry is founded on this principle, and laws like law of multiple proportion introduce an evident discontinuity to which we find analogies in the law of electrolysis. The elements of bodies we are thus brought to regard might as regards solid at all events be considered as immovable, but this immobility could not explain the phenomena heat, as it is entirely inadmissible for gases. It seems very improbable, can absolutely occur in any state. We are thus led to suppose that these elements are animated. Cases modification of the atomistic hypothesis shows itself remarkably frequent in the study of phenomena produced in gases, and here the mutual independence of the particle renders the question relatively more simple and perhaps allows the principle of mechanism to be more certainly extended to the movement of molecules. Oh my god. It's a little, it's not the easiest of the passages, I would say. The signal of dark zone that Newton, it signifies that when matter thinned down so much it changed color. Okay, it shows that matter changes character when taken in very small volume or masses. It signifies that just before a bubble, the thickness of the bubble reduces drastically. The value of the superficial tension changes when the thickness of the layer of liquid becomes extremely small. Yeah, yeah. They're talking about both the size of the liquid and the tension. Right? It's a change color ka nahi hai. This is the correct option. Which discontinuity is the author? How much time? 24. Okay, 17 minutes. Which discontinuity is the author referring to in introduce an evident discontinuity to which we find analogies in the law of electrolysis? In the discontinuity of molecules, yes, that is what we are discussing right now. Laws of matter, laws of multiple proportion. It's molecule. We are discussing this only in the passage. Yeah. Then that is done. There is, okay, 18 and this is 19, right? Yeah. Okay. Which of the following is the main ideas of atomic particles when taken in very small masses exhibit properties of light? No. Below 30 millionth of a millimeter, properties of matter depend on its thickness. Okay. Better than A. Properties of a body are modified when taken in small masses. Okay. Okay. Atomistic ideas also have undergone evolution, especially in influence of modern discoveries. No, that's not the main idea. He is talking about this and this below 30 millionth of a millimeter. But no, that could be true about something, not every molecule in the world. This is a little more blanket statement, right? Should be C. But no, there is this. Okay, the magnitude of the have linear dimension of the order of that in the molecule. Consideration regarding more complex, for instance, the phenomenon of electric contact. But then this, that, I've not been completely able to eliminate B or C properly. A and D ho chuka hai. And that's where the confusion is. So let's not mark this. Okay, let's mark it for review, and yeah, should be fine. Which of the following, let's look at this, which of the following statements would the author most likely agree with? Copper and silver are the only two metals that show heterogeneity of characters when taken in small volume. No. Most below 50 to 30 the properties of matter become constant. No. Heterogeneity of properties of matter is a universal phenomena. Okay. This character of matter taken in small masses has been established by researchers. Oh, it's 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, 4 only. I think he would be most enthusiastic about 4 because that's what he is talking about. Itne sare physicists etc. ka names he has literally name dropped over there, right? So 14 and 16 we have taken risk. 9 and 19 they were not in our risk appetite, so we didn't do that. And let's see now what happens, right? Abhi VA kar lete 13:44. I've wasted a little time, so try before you buy. We use this memorable saying to urge you to experience the consequences of an alternative before you choose it. Consequences of an alternative whenever this is feasible. If you are considering buying a van after having always owned sedans, rent one for a week or borrow a friend's, experience the consequence firsthand, they become more meaningful. In addition, you are likely to identify consequences you had not even thought of before. Maybe you will discover that it is difficult to park the van in your small parking space, but that on the other hand, your elderly father has much easier time getting in and out of it. You are planning to buy a van after, okay, no, that's not what he's saying. Before choosing all the experiences, consequences, okay, yeah, this is good. B is good. B is better than C. Let's see. Try before you buy anything. Okay, this is just talking about try and buying, but this choosing a lot of experiences, its consequences. This is better. The writer or the philosopher is talking in this tone, so B is more correct than C. We urge you to try products such as vans before buying them. No, not sold on to that. Okay, physically inertia is a feeling that you just can't move. Mentally it is a sluggish mind. Even if you try to be sensitive, if your mind is sluggish, you just don't feel like anything intensely. Okay, you may even see a tragedy enact in front of your eyes and not be able to respond meaningfully. You may see one person exploiting another, one group persecuting another, and not be able to get angry. Energy is frozen. You are not deliberately refusing to add, you just don't have the capacity. Inertia makes your body and mind sluggish. Okay. They become insensitive to tragedies, exploitation, and persecution because it frees your energy and decapacitates it. Fair enough. When you have inertia, you don't act. Although you see one person exploit another, you don't get angry because you are incapable. A is a little bigger and broader than B. Inertia is of two types, physical and mental. Okay, better. Physical inertia restricts bodily movements. Mental inertia prevents mental response to events enacted in front of your eyes. But वो decapacitates it and freezes it वाला तो नहीं आया point. Even though they have expanded a little more, I don't think I'll go with this. Physical inertia stops your body from moving. Mental inertia freezes your energy. Okay. And stops your mind from responding meaningfully to events, even tragedies in front. Okay. Stops you moving. Okay. Inertia makes your body and mind sluggish. Stops you from moving. Okay. This could be fourth also, right? And stops your mind from responding meaningfully to events, even tragedies in front of you. But again, they have not gotten that freezes your energy wala part, right? Yeah. Persecution, etc. Also, they have pointed out. So I'll between A and D, the B and C to eliminate ho gaye the. A and D mein I'm choosing this one. This part is not taken over here. Yeah. Now let's look at the odd one out. Is it 6, 7, 8? This is odd one out. Yeah. Okay, 6, 7, 8. Let's go. Concept of narcissism was popularized by the psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud through his work on the ego and its relationship to outside world. Okay, healthy narcissism is part of normal human functioning. Okay, it can represent healthy self-love and confidence that is based on real achievement and the ability to overcome setbacks and derive the support needed from social ties. Okay, narcissism lies on a continuum from healthy to pathological. Healthy narcissism is a part of this one. It becomes a problem when the individual becomes preoccupied with self, this. Now does not receive the attention desired, substance abuse and major depressive disorder can develop. Yeah, one is the odd one out. मैं तो इधर ही sentence भी बन गया. The other four put together in a frame, so that's good, right? Let's look at the next one. Save, yeah. Several engineering solutions exist, including Bandicoot, a robotic drain cleaner from a homegrown startup in Kerala. Okay, India must put an end to human death in the course of cleaning drains and septic tanks. Manual scavenging takes many forms, from cleaning local garbage to cleaning toxic sewers. Obvious solution to this one is to automate the cleaning of toxic sewage from drains and septic tanks. The point is to deploy them in adequate numbers. If 3 is not fitting the narrative, 2 becomes the first one. Must put an end in the death course. Okay, the obvious solution is to this one. Cleaning the toxic. Okay, several engineering in this exists. The point is to deploy them in adequate numbers. 3 is not fitting the narrative. Okay, and that's why 3 becomes my answer. Theta है तो मेरे को confidence भी है. Yeah. Eighth one. Psychotherapist, like the mother, helps the client to put into words effects that have in the past remain unrecognized and unelaborated. Okay, it is only with a good intersubjective environment, which is the relationship between mother and infant, that a psych soma begins to unfold through the psychic elaboration of affect as bodily experience. This affect, the word is coming very weirdly. It's bothering me. Relationship between therapist and client creates a new intersubjective space, okay, intended to impede the psychic elaboration of emotion. Psychotherapy is similar in some ways. British psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott argued in the previous century, affect is foremost a bodily experience for infants. Okay. okay. Okay, so I think 5 से start हो सकता है, then a good continuation is 2, and then you have 4, that so the very obvious one is 2, 4 and 1. ठीक है, 2 पे जाएगा, 4 पे जाएगा, 1 पे जाएगा. Therapist and client creates a new intersubjective. Now 2, 4, 1 में 2 directly नहीं start कर सकते हैं. It will have to be between 3 and 5. I'll have to begin with 3 or 5 first. So between therapist and client creates a new, okay, it's only good with no infants and mother. Yeah, so I'll go, so 5 2 वो वाला order रहेगा, तो 3 I'll eliminate, because this is talking about sentence that we will be dealing with the second, which shows mother and infant, so that doesn't add up. That is our answer over there. Okay, and now we have only 3 more sentences to go. Let's look. Call it the third wave sweeping the Indian media. Now they are starring in a new role as suave deal makers who are in a hurry to strike alliances and agreements. Look around you will find a host of deals that have been inked on or are ready to be finalized. Okay. Then the media barons wrested back control from their editors and turned marketing warriors with the brand as their missile. First came with those magnificent men in their mahogany chambers who took on the world with their mighty fountain pens. Okay, so okay, this and none of this, okay, is making first line ka sense. I'll try. Third wave sweeping the Indian media. Then the media were arrested. Okay, I think so. See, if I begin with this, okay, so let's call the first sentence to be this one, because none of them are making any sense otherwise. Okay, if I start with this, call it the third media, it's 4 minutes 55, right? Then, so the first one, they're talking about the first came with those magnificent men in the mahogany chambers, good. Then the media barons, okay, so then the fourth one comes into play. Now they are starring in a new role as suave deal makers. Okay, so now this has happened, and then third से end हो जाएगा. Look around you and you will find a host of strike alliances and agreements, and then talking about host of deals and this. Yes, this is good. Events intervened, and in the late 1930s and 1940s, Germany suffered from overbranding. The British used to be fascinated by the home of Romanticism, but reunification and federal government's move to Berlin have prompted Germany to again about its image. So we fascinated. First foreign package holiday was a tour of Germany organized by Thomas Cook in 1855. It has been understandably nervous about promoting itself abroad. 30 Germany suffered from overbranding. Okay, federal governments. So 2 say you used to be fascinated by, 2 say it should begin, right? Yeah, 2 say and 2 and 4 they form a coherent, this also, it makes sense. So 2 is stating a fact, and then फोर्थ का रीजनिंग दिया, बिकॉज रोमांटिसिज्म पे अगर बात करें तो थॉमस कुक ने सबसे पहले फर्स्ट फॉरेन हॉलिडे पैकेज वाज अ टूर ऑफ जर्मनी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय थॉमस कुक. Since then, Germany has been understandably nervous about promoting its events intervened. तो पहले उन्होंने सोचा, ठीक है, फोर्थ पे आए, देन ये वाला करेंगे, 1 आ जाएगा, राइट, and then fifth आ जाएगा because Germany has been understandably nervous about promoting itself, right? तो उन्होंने stop कर दिया, but reunification of federal government, and that's why they are rethinking about it. ठीक है, 24153 is my order. ठीक है, 24153 is my order, and that goes perfect. 2 minutes 23 seconds. chill है. These two also अगर चले गए तो issue नहीं होना चाहिए. I have faith in the answers over there. Let's see. The role of the song figures in this is the third one only, na? This is the third one only. Yeah, the role of the song figures in intra-species recognition was then examined. Okay, it seems likely therefore that a specific configuration is not essential for intra-species recognition, but it is clear that song figures must conform to a particular frequency range, must be within narrow limits of duration, and must be spaced at in particular intervals. We created experimental songs composed of new figures by playing the normal songs backward, change the detailed form of figures without altering frequency ranges or gross temporal features. Since the male indigos gave almost a full response to the background song, that a wide range of figure shapes can evoke positive response. My god, this is a difficult one. Okay. Role of song figures in intra-species recognition was then examined. Okay. So we created experimental songs composed of new figures. 3 पे आएगा. 3 suppose 3 को ले लो. We created this or gross temporal feature. It seems like therefore not essential for intra-species recognition. Almost a full response to the background song, we conclude that a wide range of figure shapes can evoke positive response. Okay. So I think 3, 4, 2 and 1. Yeah, because ये सब किया उन्होंने. ये this seems like something that they came across, right? 3, 4, 2 and 1. And then उसके बाद से they started the role of song figures intra-species recognition was then examined. So then they started examining it. I think so. Or it could be that this could be the for about 3, 4, 2 का correlation. 1 का positioning could be here also. 1 का positioning could be there also. But I'll go with my first gut and put 1 का positioning in the beginning. Okay. 9th and 9th वाला तो we are so either yeah 19th and 9th we are not going to mark. 14th also we are fine with. Chalo. Easy test because light. I was not rushing also in the paper. There was no point where I felt like I was lagging. Third set I could begin at 20. So good. I did take a little more time in the second set. It was a little difficult, a little more convoluted than I would have liked. Okay, let me see. Okay, 57 score and 19 out of 20. Okay, I attempted 20. I got 19 right. Okay. Let me see what the issue could be or what that one particular mistake is. Okay, third one. Let me see the solutions also. Show solutions. Yeah, there you go. See, 3, 4, 2, 1 का positioning starting with that. Rational, let's just see, open the sequence as a standalone sentence about the examination role of song figure. 3 is a link as sentence 1 talks about exam role of song, sentence 3 elaborates on an experiment regarding the same. Okay, fair. My interpretation was a little different, so it's fine. And that was the issue. Let's look at the ones that we left. Okay, 9th we left, right? 9th का क्या rational था? Author's approach to the passage. Okay, so I was confused between casual and light-hearted because desultory ka I did not know explicitly sure, but I didn't just want to remove it. So let's just see what the meaning of this was. Morose are derogatory terms. Desultory was a derogative term. I should have understood. DE से start हुआ है, so etymology भी किया अगर थोड़ा भी हमने basic सा, so we should be able to understand that. Fair enough, that would be on me. Let's look at the 19th one. What went wrong over here? Which of the best expresses the main idea of the passage? Oh, it was hard also. Small masses. Yeah, so why not B is, let's ask, so is the idea that runs through the passage, because he is to prevent this homogeneity, superficial intention which is constant for the same liquid at given temperature no longer has the same value, thickness, come on. Thickness of the layer of liquid becomes extremely small, copper and silver cease to combine. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. C was more correct basically. Okay, so that's it from my end, guys. All the best for your paper. It's this weekend. After the exam, definitely take a day off, take a week off. Okay, study hard till then, and just hang in there. It's just the final week. Yeah, take care.